All right, here we go on this January the 26th. It's a Sunday, and we're 1 week away from Groundhog's Day. A lot of people are going to be questioning this time what the old rodent's going to say about the next 6 weeks of your life. We'll be finding out. What we do know is the pattern's shifting. It is changing rather rapidly. That deep Arctic plunge that brought the Arctic air mass all the way down to the Gulf Coast here this past week with the historic southern winter storm that dropped as much as 10 inches of snow across the very deep south, setting snowfall records in Florida, in South Alabama, in parts of Louisiana, also parts of Texas. So pretty impressive stuff there. All right, let's get into this. I hope you guys are doing well on this Sunday. Talking about a major pattern shift that is going to allow that, at least the heart of the Arctic air that we've been dealing with, to lift to the north for a bit. It's going to change the storm track of the storms as they're zipping across the United States. And we're going to reintroduce rain for parts of the region, and then we're going to reintroduce that possibility of more heavy snowfall for areas that really kind of got skipped for much of the month of January. We're going to be talking about where that's going to be occurring as we head on into that first week of February. It looks interesting. Anyway, thanks for being on here. We'll take a quick look at satellite perspective. We've got a little kind of a wimpy system making its way across the Mid-South right now. You can see that there in the enhanced infrared satellite. That's the IR satellite with those brighter cloud tops representing the higher cloud tops as well. Here's a look underneath those higher clouds. We do have some showers, nothing severe here, and again, it's all rain for the south this time of the round. As finally all that snow melting off down there near Beaumont and Sugar Land, Houston, seeing all that snowfall. Alexandria, and seeing the rain right now for Jackson, Mississippi, and Meridian. All that associated with a system fairly benign, not going to be too strong, not going to cause too many problems as well. All right, let's take a look at the upper levels here. Jet stream is definitely a changing, as we oftentimes like to diagnose the weather by looking at what's happening in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And let's go on over to the the 12Z Euro. That's this afternoon's run of the European forecast model. This is the premier medium range forecast model. Typically doesn't miss by much, at least in the medium range. All right, here's a look. Cut off upper low there in the desert southwest, and this is going to play havoc. It is actually going to bring some beneficial rains to the valleys and upper elevation snows to parts of Southern California, so desperate for that moisture. So that's going to bring some good news. That big upper trough, though, that we've been following for you out across the eastern U.S., it's beginning to lift, as mentioned. That will bring the warmer weather with it. Parts of the Northeast will not be spared, however, as you will get some reinforcing cold air as we go to more of a split flow in the jet stream, where you have both a southern branch and a northern branch. This is as we head towards the middle of the week. Finally, that upper low that we were talking about over Southern California, it does begin to kick as we head towards late in the week. It'll begin to get ejected out of the southern Rockies. As it lifts, it begins to pull up that moisture. That's going to result in both rain and snow for parts of the eastern United States for the end of the week. I'll show you that in just a minute. Behind that, we go into what we call a zonal flow. And this is where the jet stream is largely west to east across the United States. That's going to mean that the storm systems are going to move very rapidly across the U.S. It also means we're probably going to have a very tight baroclinic zone as you go from south to north or north to south. With that being said, there's still a ton of jet stream energy, and we're watching those upper patterns as they're beginning to evolve and change as we head on into that first week of February. Lots more jet stream energy, but it's really about a week into February we begin to see the jet stream winds beginning to take shape across the central and western U.S. That's where the cold is going to relocate itself across the central eastern U.S. That will mean there's going to be another potential zone of major winter storms as we head into that first week and a half of February across much of the central eastern United States. Not as far south as it was this past week. It will be further north. Those areas across the Midwest that have been missing out probably will not in the future. All right, let's take a look at a sensible weather here. There's that upper storm you can see across the southwest there, where it's going to be delivering the snows to the upper elevations across Southern California. Out there it was at some of those ski resorts. They desperately need that moisture too, so that's good news. Anyway, you'll still have energy coming out of Canada that's going to deliver some clippers across much of the Great Lakes as we head towards Monday, Tuesday this week. So it's going to be cold and snappy. Lots of snow showers for the northeast, the Great Lakes as well. That upper low begins to kick by late in the week, bringing rain into the plains here Thursday and into Friday as well. That low eventually begins to tap into enough cold air to change over to some snowfall. You can see that here as we head towards late Friday and into the start of the week, and that could be a heavy, wet snow for parts of the Midwest and also parts of the Great Lakes. Again, areas that kind of got missed out here much of the month of January, and then we're going to watch that snow track as it lifts to the north as we head on into that first part of February. That's that first big storm into February. Don't want to get too specific about the position or strength of the system. But just know that it's going to ride a favorable storm track that is going to be conducive to perhaps big snows across the plains, perhaps the Midwest, perhaps the Great Lakes. We'll watch. We got a little bit of time for that. Now, as far as snowfall totals with this current run of the European forecast model, it does show you again that possibility of some really good snows in those upper elevations in Southern California. The southern parts of the Sierra Nevadas picking up, locally more than 6 inches of snow there in those brighter colors. Locally, the higher peaks, of course, even more than that. So good news, you need the moisture down there. As far as the big picture, so we're going to get a little bit of snow in the short term with that upper low this week. Most of the snow is going to be accumulating across the Great Lakes, of course, as is typical of this time of year, with those very cold winds still going across relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes. It's going to result in lots and lots of lake effect snowfall. All right, let's get into February because we do have a storm system to track for you. As we head on into that first week, again, look at all the snow beginning to fill in across the central U.S., the Midwest, the plains, northern plains specifically, that, again, have not seen a ton of snow so far this season. So Mother Nature looks like it may be correcting itself. It may go into a bit of a balance. Now, we are going to see some pretty big swings in temperatures as well. One of the big factors that we're going to really experience in the next 1 to 2 weeks is going to be this downsloping wind that comes off of the Rocky Mountains. You see, anytime you get upper level winds that descend down a mountain range, that causes the air to compress. As it goes down in elevation, it compresses. As it compresses, it heats up. Therefore, we do have some nice warming winds for you Monday, Tuesday, coming off those Rocky Mountains. Get a little bit of a cool down, a little shot of some cooler air midweek for the Midwest, Great Lakes, and then that warmth re-arrives ahead of that storm, pulling out of the desert Southwest here Thursday and Friday. That will result in nice temperatures. Take a look at these temperatures Friday for the Ohio River Valley. For the lower Mississippi River Valley, we've got 50s and we've got 60s. We've even got some 70s down there towards the Gulf Coast, so that'll feel really nice. Now, beyond that, we do get a little bit of a cool down next weekend, that first weekend of February, and then another flare up of that downsloping wind. However, you see what's coming behind it, more Arctic air. That's what we're seeing up here towards British Columbia, Manitoba. All that's going to slide down as well. So we got some very warm weather coming for early February. In fact, this one run here showing these temperatures ahead of that one storm system 1 week into February. Again, I don't want to be too specific, but you can look at the numbers here. Somebody's going to be rocking with 70s and 60s all over the place. And then on the flip side, we're going to have single digits, maybe sub-zero in a very short range. What this spells to me is that we're going to go into a period of some pretty stormy weather, some pretty active weather once we get into February, which typically February, one of the snowiest months, if not the snowiest month for much of the Midwest. All right, with that being said, I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you got something out of the video, give me a quick like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to know when we pop on with our next update. In the meantime, you guys stay warm, stay blessed, and we'll talk to you again soon.